Hello, I'm Mark Schechter with Ideal Luxury, where we buy, sell, trade, and make loans on watches, diamonds, and jewelry. Welcome to another edition of Question Mark, where we answer popular questions about these luxury items. Today we're talking about buying a diamond. Rule number one, as always, know who you're doing business with, especially for such an important purchase like this. And then second, get an education. Knowledge is power. The more you learn about diamonds, the better prepared you'll be when you're in the marketplace. It'll be your opinion of the quality of the diamond and not the person selling it to you. Let's take a closer look. Alright, so knowledge is power. Let's start with GIA. GIA created the 4 C's of diamonds. It's a great way for both the layman and the professional to convey the quality of a stone. And it's basically your carat weight, your color, your clarity, and the grade of a cut for a stone. So we'll break down each of those a little further. GIA is real good. I've actually got an account with GIA for providing tools when looking at stones and trying to understand the 4 C's, but we'll use this as a visual aid, and I'll also put some photos up on the screen to try to make this as easy as possible for you guys to understand when you're watching this. But we'll start with color, and diamonds naturally go from colorless, D, to stones that have light color, Z, and it goes all the way through. Beyond Z, you get your fancies, the yellows and greens and pinks, and they can get very valuable. But this color scale you see here on the left was created by GIA. D, E, and F are colorless stones. We'll get a little closer, maybe you can see that a little better. Then you get into G, H, I, and J are near colorless. I'm a big fan of stones that are near colorless. They're going to look white to most people, but you won't be spending budget on D, E, and F. You just want to be careful going beyond J. Some people actually like stones with faint color. They can be great and very brilliant, but most people like to stick to white. And as long as you're in the G, H, I, and J range, I think you'll have a stone that appears white in most circumstances. Clarity, the second C. Stones naturally have imperfections. Some stones have imperfections that you can see with your naked eye, and some stones are going to have imperfections that you need to see with a jeweler's loupe. Again, the scale with GIA goes from flawless stones, stones that have no imperfections and are very valuable, into what's called very, very slightly included, VVS. And you'll see 1 and 2. 1 is better than 2. Very slightly included 1 and 2. 1 again being better than 2. And then slightly included 1 and 2. Stones that are GIA certified and are SI2 or cleaner, you're going to need a 10-power jeweler's loupe to see the imperfections. And most people aren't out at breakfast on Saturday mornings with the jeweler's loupe. So if you stick to stones that are SI2 or better, you're going to have a stone you can't see imperfections with the naked eye. But you can take the budget of trying to spend on a VVS stone and move it over to color or even carat. When you get into I1 and I2 and I3, these are included stones. These are imperfections that you'll see quite visibly with your naked eye. Imperfections come in terms of crystals or coal deposits, the black spots you may see from time to time, or they may also come in terms of inclusions or feathers. It might look like the fracture in an ice cube. Again, nothing wrong with imperfections. If you can, you're going to want to get a stone where you can't see them with the naked eye. The third C, cut, and it's a C that's often misunderstood or ignored, isn't whether it's a princess stone or a round stone, it's the proportions of the stone. I always like to say quite simply, light goes in, it bounces around, it comes out. The easier the light gets in and out, the more fire a stone is going to have. A stone that's graded very good or excellent, you'll hear ideal cut, that light is going to come right back out the top of the stone, and it's going to have the greatest fire or scintillation. It's going to appear to always sparkle, if you will, and have the most life. As opposed to good or fair cut stones, or even poor, where the light escapes out the sides or the bottom. Again, not to be ignored, it's where the fire comes from, but it's not to be confused with the shape of a stone. And the last but not least is carat weight. Carat is simply a unit of weight. 5 carats equals 1 gram, as an example. So a 5 carat stone would weigh a gram. a 1 carat stone is going to be 1/20th of a gram. Most people are going to be looking at 1 and 2 carat stones. And again, on budget, I'm a big fan of taking, let's say, budget you might put in VVS, things that you can't see with your naked eye. Take that budget and move it into carat weight and color, things that I always like to say, it seems shrewd, any idiot can see carat or color. They'll know if the stone has any yellow, and they'll know if it's a small stone or a large stone. But those 4 C's, when you talk about arming yourself and with knowledge, and knowledge is power, understand the 4 C's of diamonds is going to help you. In terms of compromises, where you might want to compromise, ironically, is in clarity. You don't need to spend that money on a VVS stone, move it over to color or carat. And then cut, you can sacrifice some of the fire, if you will, to get that larger stone or that whiter stone. In terms of diamond certificates, again, the most widely recognized is GIA. This is a GIA diamond grading report. This is their newest version. It's laminated, it's got watermarks. But what a GIA certificate does, or any certificate for that matter, it's going to identify the stone. So we'll break down a GIA cert for starters here. It's going to tell you the report number. It's going to tell you when the stone was certified. This particular stone was graded in February of this year. It's going to tell you that its carat weight, 101, its color, I, its clarity, VS2. It'll tell you additional information. It's not going to give you a cut grade because it's not a round stone, but it'll tell you the polish, symmetry, whether a stone has fluorescence. I'll cover that in just a moment. Give you a diagram of the stone, its proportions. It'll give you clarity or thumbprint characteristics and tell you where imperfections might exist. And then all GIA certificates come with both the color and clarity scale. And again, this one being I, you're near colorless. And VS2, it's very slightly included, 2 just before SI. So a good value stone. Probably more important to understand on certificates, there are a lot of certificates out there. You'll see GIA, you'll hear EGL, AGI, IGI. They're all very helpful in terms of identifying a stone for its proportions and its weight. Those are inarguable. Can be helpful for insurance purposes. But GIA is the gospel. If it says it's IVS2, it's IVS2. Everything else is subjective. And I always like to say the opinion that counts is the person that's purchasing the stone. If you think it's I and they're saying it's G, it's your opinion that counts. So there's nothing wrong with those certificates, just know that they're all subjective unless it's GIA. In terms of shapes, you'll see all sorts of different shapes. This obviously is a round brilliant cut. This particular stone's a carat 52. It has an excellent rating for polish, symmetry, and cut, so it's got really good fire. But you'll see that obviously a round shaped stone versus this particular stone is emerald cut. This one also has a very nice rating for color and clarity. But in terms of shapes, keep in mind shapes. Anything that's not round, they will go in and out of fashion. Princess is probably one of the more popular shapes over time in terms of not round. Round stones typically have values maybe 40% more in value for the same carat weight, same color, and same clarity. Shapes do tend to go in and out of style, so you want to be careful getting too wild and crazy. It might be real cool to get a heart-shaped stone because you're getting married at Valentine's Day, but it may go in and out of fashion, so it's something you want to consider over time. In terms of valuing stones, stones are valued obviously by market value, what people are buying and selling them for. A lot of dealers use something called a RAP report, kind of like a Kelley Blue Book for diamonds. So you'll hear them refer to the RAP report. Again, like a Kelley Blue Book, it's a guideline, it's not the gospel, but it can help in determining values. Probably more important is what they're willing to sell it for and what you're willing to pay for it. In terms of used diamonds, this particular ring was purchased secondhand. The ring you may want to swap out. The diamond, they're all used. Youngest diamond identified might be 50 million years old. May have been mined recently, but they're very old. And diamonds that have been cut over time and set in different settings, they could tell a story. Obviously, it would be fascinating. But don't shy away from used diamonds. There really is no such thing as a a new diamond. If you're concerned about karma, then focus on getting a new setting. Treated stones, you're going to want to catch my question mark segment on treated stones. You'll get a lot more information, but there are diamonds out there that have been manipulated by man for their color and clarity. Nothing wrong with those stones as long as their manipulation has been disclosed. You'll get maybe a cleaner or whiter stone for less money, but it'll be worth less too in the long run. Fluorescence is something that you're going to want to understand briefly. Some stones have gas naturally trapped inside of them, anywhere from none in terms of fluorescence to very strong. You can see in this example. I'll try to put some photos up on the screen. These are blue because they're under a UV light. It's the way you test for fluorescence. GIA will tell you that you can't perceive it with the naked eye. Sometimes very strong blue fluorescence can make a stone a little dead, a little milky. So stones with faint or none or more valuable, something you're going to want to look for and understand. Then again, last but not least, I always like to caution when people are considering buying a diamond, they put a lot of time and effort also into the setting, which can be a lot of fun and certainly part of the expense. But focus on the diamond. It's the larger, more valuable part of the investment and something you'll have forever. The ring might go in and out of fashion and you might upgrade it for anniversary. So focus on the stone. But hopefully this will help you better understand what you're looking at when you're out there in the marketplace. That's all for today. If you'd like your question answered, or you'd like to learn more about buying, selling, trading, or borrowing from Ideal Luxury, feel free to visit our website or give us a call.